This is Business and Economy Network.
Hello viewers, glad to know you are watching your program. This is Business and Economy Network. I want to say happy belated Salah to all our Muslim brothers and sisters for a successful completion of the Ramadan fast. And I want to say, may Almighty God hear our prayers, and also we pray for all our leaders and all leaders around the world. Well, for those of you watching us in faraway Abuja, Port Harcourt, Ilori, Kano, Kaduna, Sokoto, Enugu, those of you in Delta, those of you in Jigawa, wherever you are watching all around the world, those of you in London, South Africa, Ghana, via the online channels, I want to say thank you so very much. You are watching your #1 business television program, Business and Economy Network. My name still remains Peter Ngoche. For the program rundown this week, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are looking at two very unique sector in Nigerian economy. We are looking at the telecommunications and information management, and we're also looking at housing and urban development. For special report this week, we have the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of Galaxy Backbone. This is a company responsible for the issue of data management and telecommunications, part of telecommunications in Nigeria. And also for Spotlight, we have the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of JEDO Investment Company Nigeria Limited, looking at housing for all in Nigeria and beyond. It's going to be an interesting watch. Relax yourself, brace up. It's going to be deep, it's going to be incisive, and it's going to be very educative. I'll be back after this time out.
Born out of a strong desire to uphold development and innovations across government ministry, parastatals and agencies, the firm Galaxy Backbone, though government-oriented, was set in order to independently run and operate effectively. Galaxy Backbone Limited was primarily set up to harmonize almost, if not all, government ministries, parastatals and agencies, and bring them under a unifying umbrella to avoid replication and moderate running costs. Mr. Yusuf Kazwari, the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer, a well-grounded individual in information and communication technology, and has run with the vision of Galaxy Backbone, being a pioneer staff of the firm. Galaxy Backbone is a one-stop shop for all ICT-related matters as it concerns the federal government of Nigeria.
Galaxy Backbone was created way back in 2006. And it was actually as a result of, I think, a committee that was set up by the federal government to harmonize various ICT initiatives that different government ministries, departments, and agencies were undertaking. These ICT initiatives, even though government appeared to be spending a lot of money on them, did not appear to give the value that government expected of it. So, because there was a lot of duplication and a lack of cohesion across the various MDAs. So as a result of that, this committee was set up to harmonize all the various ICT initiatives and projects across government and try to bring them under a common umbrella, so to speak, so that there's clarity around what needs to be achieved across all of government, as well as the need to avoid duplication. In their wisdom, to achieve this, you need a separate entity that was independent of the existing entities that will be charged with the responsibility of creating this single platform. And then they reasoned as well that for this entity to succeed, because it was going to be running ICT, then it should be a limited liability company as opposed to being a typical government agency. Because if you're a typical government agency that will be within the full ambit of the budgeting process of government, then you cannot be as agile as you're expected to be, and the ICT requires that level of agility to be able to survive. So the reason that ICT cannot survive in a bureaucratic manner, and hence Galaxy Backbone was created as a limited liability company by the recommendation of this. And when it was created, that was way back, that's in September 2006, around about that time. It was given the mandate to create a unified platform for all government MDAs to use. So it was responsible for ensuring that all government MDAs are connected to each other, And then one of the mandates of Galaxy was also that any transversal application within government, and by transversal they mean that any application which more than one MDA uses, that is, if two MDAs need to use an application, then it should be hosted by Galaxy Backbone to give neutrality across. So those were the initial mandates that Galaxy Backbone was given. Just to give you an example of the problems that were faced at that time, when a survey was done by the same committee and further verified when Galaxy wanted to provide the first connectivity project into the Federal Secretariat, it was found that there were more than 60 different VSAT service providers at the Federal Secretariat. So you had 60 plus VSAT sitting at the Federal Secretariat, all trying to provide internet to one or two different MDAs. Now we have a fiber backbone hitting into the Federal Secretariat with a backup service into the same Federal Secretariat, and it is serving everybody. So that's the wisdom behind the thinking that brought about the creation of Galaxy Backbone. Now, Galaxy Backbone, when we started, the most consumed product then was internet connectivity, because that was the problem. Getting 256 kbps of internet as at that time in 2006 was a luxury, so to speak, and so there was a lot of focus on internet. But beyond internet, for you to be able to run a platform, you need basically two things. You need a repository for the data, and then you need the pipes or the transmission medium for the data to send the data from point A to point B. So our initial products focused on that. Essentially, they focused on ensuring that we built a data center. So we have a very what we call our legacy data center, which came into being and was commissioned in May 2007, which we call our legacy data center. That provided the first government-wide data hosting facility, which was available to all government MDAs as at that time. Then, in addition to that, we had a lot of VSAT connectivity projects that we laid. As at that time, we put out about 5,000 VSATs across government MDAs across the country, because VSAT was the most logical technology as at that point in time, because it was easy to deploy, quick to deploy once you're able to have the equipment on ground, even though it had limitations of bandwidth and so on. So with the data center in place, internet connectivity was provided to all MDAs, and then there was a VPN that was created to link all government MDAs without having to go over the internet, and that enabled the first configuration of what we fondly call the onegov.ng platform, which is the platform we created for government to be able to work seamlessly in a secure manner that links all government MDAs as we speak today. Now, those VSATs have slowly evolved into fiber connections today. So fiber and wireless is now slowly overtaking the original VSAT configuration, which has achieved its purpose by being able to quickly connect government MDAs in a seamless manner. But because of the demands of modern applications, now it's all about video streaming, it's all about doing transactions online, where latency issues are paramount. We now prefer to use terrestrial where it's available, and then still in the hard and difficult to reach areas, we still have VSATs to provide. So that's the underlying technology. So essentially, like I said, it was initially VPNs and data hosting. And then to a large extent, we found that there's a competency gap within government. And it's not only within government, even in the private sector, where ICT is concerned, it's a fast evolving sector. the knowledge increases and changes by the day. Even the applications you're used to, if you talk to your kids today, they'll tell you of new social media applications you've never heard of, and that's just the way it keeps evolving. So keeping up with that was also a challenge. So we provide a lot of professional services for MDAs to help them articulate their own ICT requirements end to end, to be able to understand the change process that they'll have to undergo to be able to achieve those objectives, and then to help them identify where and how they'll be able to deploy and integrate those applications so that they work seamlessly. So we provided a lot of advisory services for government, as well as training and capacity building, because training and capacity building is as important as the technology itself. If I give you new technology and I don't train you on how to use it, the chances are you'll never go beyond 10 to 20% of that technology's capacity. But with a little training, you can now even become an innovator that will be valuable to even the original equipment manufacturer, because you'll be able to give them feedback based on your own use case. So it works for everybody, having being able to get training for the end user as well as the people who manage that technology. Now, I think the issue of security, is probably the most important single factor that anybody who is in the business of ICT these days, especially if you are providing hosting services, is of paramount. And even so, if you are doing it for sensitive customers like government and the financial sector and so on and so on. What we have done is focus on all three elements of security. Security is about people, it's about processes, before you come to actual security equipment, right? And as a further demonstration of our determination to ensure that we use best practice internationally, expected best practice across the security section, we have gone out of our way and we have certified the company to be ISO 27001 compliant, which is an information security standard that looks at your processes and your technology as well as your people, how you handle people's data, the sort of controls you have in place to ensure that security and availability of information is paramount in what you do. So we've had that certification year on year for at least the past 5 or 6 years. We're getting recertified this June. Most organizations, what they do is they go make a lot of noise about getting the initial certification, but they never go back for the recertifications. But we do annual audits year on year, and after the 3rd year, as required, we recertify. And if there's a new version of the standard, because even within the standard, you find that probably it will be a 27001 year, this maybe 2011, but there will be now an update in 2017, which requires you to change things. We make sure we're always recertified to the latest and newest standard, probably being one of the first. Take as an example, not related to security, but related to information, to service management standards, the ISO 20000. We are getting set to be tested, to be examined on the ISO 20000 2018. We'll probably be one of the first few organizations worldwide, if we're able to get it this year, to be certified. The whole organization now is working to ensure that by end of July or early August, that examination takes place and we will be recertified on a new standard. So that's how determined we are, and that's the same spirit we take into security. But let me warn you that security is a moving target. Even physical security, the same thing, is even worse in technology. So it's all about continuous update and continuous improvement and continuous learning, keeping your services up to date and so on. And then going to the most important one of what I keep emphasizing, that the most important but the weakest link is the human being when it comes to security, especially because you click on a link carelessly and it puts a lot of people, a lot of systems under unnecessary threat. So we spend a lot of energy and time and resources educating our users on how to properly secure their devices, secure the equipment, and right security, and use the right security posture as they use this technology. That's aside from writing policies that ensure. So sometimes we do get complaints, especially from some of our government customers. They say we are too locked down, we block all the ports, we do this. We do that to ensure that security is of paramount because we don't leave it wide open. And then on request, we open some of these things. Yes, so I think security is the most important element in what we do and how we provide it is the most important part of the job I do.
Having worked in various reputable institutions, gaining needed experience and building the right capacity, Alhaji Dr. Aliyu Wamako, the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of JEDO Investment Company Limited, located in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Nigeria. He also doubles as the Deputy National President of the Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, REDAM. Alhaji Wamako is in the business of developing comfortable, affordable housing for Nigerians with a special attention to those we call the average Nigerian or the middle income earner. JEDO Investment has over the years developed and delivered not less than 700 housing units, thereby reducing the ever-increasing rate of housing deficit in Nigeria.
I am from Sokoto State. I school in Wamoko, my village, now a local government. And I graduated in Sokoto State Polytechnic before I proceed to Lagos. When I became a custom officer, I took a part-time program to study business administration and financial management at School of Management Studies, Kilometer 24 by the Great Expressway. And during my stay in the custom, I attended several courses. I've been in the intelligence unit of the custom for a very long time, and that gave me the opportunity to attend so many courses in the intelligence sector. I'm a graduate of accounting. I don't know anything about building, but it's fate. Destiny brought me into building industry. And I'm the Chiroma of my village, Chiroma Wamako, which is a traditional title, as the apparent heir to the throne. And Fulani by tribe, practice Islam as my religion. I think that is, and I'm married with kids. I have about 10 kids. I don't know anything about building. I just came into Abuja to do some other things. Just when I left custom, I decided to organize a traveling agency where I do Hajj Umrah, visas, and other things that are done in traveling and tours. But as fate may have it, that is not what God destined to me. I happen to meet Nigerian Prison Service Cooperative Society, and they invited me for a meeting and wanted me to build houses for them. And we agreed, we signed agreement to a terms. I employ engineers who are competent and knowledgeable about the project, and I started learning from there. And we were able to deliver this project. They were asking me to build about 500 housing units for them at that time. So I was in the project, and I did about 238. But because I'm a novice, I don't know, there are certain situations that has to be checked in, like approval of development control, all the authorities' approval and so forth. I don't know about that. So unfortunately for them, not for me, because I opted out of the project and asked them to pay me off what I have to, because they don't have the requisite requirement or documentation for the building. And that truncated the project. But as God may have it, I went through Federal Mortgage Bank as an estate developer. My eyes started to open, and I applied for a loan to build houses. And that is why now I have about 700 houses in Lubi Estate. I was able to deliver 250 houses as required by me from Federal Mortgage Bank. In fact, I believe I set a record that I am expecting for someone to break. Presently, they gave me to build 250 houses, which I did under 1 year, 6 months. That is 18 months. I was able to deliver the houses, and I paid off their loan and give them their houses. Unlike other places where you find so many people in mess because of mortgage arrangement and what have you, I was able to deliver, and I gave them their houses. And the rest of the houses also, I obliged them for Federal Mortgage Bank off-takers, National Housing Fund contributors to take. So this is so far so good. That's what brought us to our present state now. As I told you, I have done a lot of projects concerning housing. Definitely, I still remember, and I believe Federal Mortgage Bank was my source of inspiration because they gave me the level playing ground, which I was able to display my talent and enthusiasm coming into the building industry. I delivered about 700 housing units in Lubi, and we were in partnership with Federal Ministry of Housing under ministerial housing arrangement, which I delivered 102 houses in Lubi and in Suleja, Niger State, and also 108 housing in Kano. These are all under ministerial housing scheme, which is an initiative of the Federal Ministry of Housing when the window of EDL is being cancelled from Federal Mortgage Bank. That means Estate Development Loan. So that was open as contract finance initiative by the ministry. Developers are being arranged, are being screened and taken to deliver these houses. The Federal Ministry give the land for the construction of these houses. And as a collaborator, FMBN now pays. But the ministry take care of the land, the building, the drawings, the supervision of the buildings, which is being supervised by area controller of Federal Ministry of Housing in each state. They are the ones to supervise these houses and also provide their expert advice and whatever. Bill of quantity, to quantify and do the valuations, because it is pay as you go. So on that basis, the Federal Mortgage Bank is just a collaborating partner with Federal Ministry of Housing under the ministerial pilot housing scheme. And after the valuation, they are expected to pay, and the developer is expected to move forward until the project is being completed. God willing, this is how we have completed Suleja and the Kano one. We are presently in Kano, not yet completed. And also, we have another arrangement with the Federal Ministry of Housing. Under their social welfare package, they wanted to provide social welfare houses for their staff. I was chosen as one of the developers to produce these 100 houses in Kuji, which we have started. Unfortunately, now it has been truncated. There is a legal tussle on the land between the ministry and I think somebody who claimed the land is his one. So that truncated that project as of now. And we have a working relationship with several government agencies in terms of housing delivery. I have in Kaduna State, they have just given me 10 hectares of land in Kaduna for the provision of social houses to the people. God willing, we will start the project as soon as we have completed the necessary arrangement with them. And we have another working relationship with Family Homes Fund, which is a very good initiative by the federal government. And this administration has done enough if the scheme is being put into use, because it will really reduce the housing deficit and alleviate the suffering of the masses who cannot afford, a roof above their head. So I think it's a very good initiative from the government. These houses are low income. They are intended for low income people from level 10, 9 downwards, either in the ministry or in the state. The only thing they needed is a genuine land to provide these buildings. And I believe they have gone far in this arrangement. Some of the state have already benefited. I think Kanu, Ekiti, Nasarawa, I think somebody called Mula Foundation is building in Nasarawa. Yes, I think it's all under this scheme. And the person brought on board to head this agency is a well-known guru in the housing sector. He was once former Shelter Afrique MD, so he was brought on board. And he knows it all. It's only the level playing ground he will provide it. And I believe he's in a good working relationship with most of the developers and the state governments in Nigeria.
Well, via this time will permit us on the program. Anything that has a definitely beginning will definitely come to an end. I want to say thank you. But remember this: perseverance, consistency, focus. We always take a man or a group to anywhere of his height. But just remember, if you can think it, definitely you can achieve it. Don't let the challenges of today weigh you down or make you depressed. Keep moving, keep doing something, and definitely, God will definitely make a way for you. On behalf of Production Crew, I want to say thank you so very much. Your program definitely will make a return. Same time next week, God's willing. Stay blessed.